What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Melissa. You may know me from my And Just Like That commentary here on YouTube, or some of my other Bridgerton content right here on my channel. And I bring you to watch me make commentary on Bridgerton Season 1, Episode 1, because I feel like rewatching it. I am starved for new Bridgerton content. And since we're not getting new content, I have to try to create content in a way for me to get into the historical romance world again. I am craving it, you guys. Look, Bridgerton Season 3, who the fuck knows when that's gonna come because of what is going on in the world. And a few months ago or a few weeks ago, I don't know the concept of time, they had released new photos for the upcoming season. I think it was like 4 or 5 photos, which I did a whole video on that I will link down below for you to watch. And the video is just me talking about the photos and the summary, and I'm also kind of ranting about the lack of new content. We have not been given a clip, no teasers, no trailer. And I know that because of what's going on in the industry, we're obviously not going to be getting any type of promo from the actors and writers and whatnot, but I'm just yearning for some type of sneak peek, something, but I don't know when that's going to happen. And because of what's going on in the industry, I feel like we may not even get the new season till possibly early next year, because I figured that there was a leak a few weeks ago that the new season wouldn't drop till December, which is, to me, was already far. But now it's looking like, because of what's going on, that it may not happen till early next year, which is crazy. This crazy drought, this crazy Bridgerton drought is driving me crazy. I give the show a lot of credit for starting me reading again. Like I was in like a years long book slump where I hadn't read in a few years. And then I watched that show and it reignited me to become a voracious reader again. So I started out reading a bunch of historical romances. I read the other Julia Quinn books because she has written spin-offs, she has written prequels. And then it led me to reading some other historical romance authors like Joanna Shoup. And then I slowly got into contemporary, which I was actually afraid to do. I didn't want to read contemporary. So I got back into reading that way. And I am told that people usually do the reverse, where they get back into reading, doing contemporary romance, and then they trickle in historical romance. But I did the reverse because of Bridgerton. Season 1, to me, is the best. I know many people will disagree because there are people who love Bridgerton Season 2 and there's people who love Queen Charlotte. Queen Charlotte is like their favorite, the best. I just think that Season 1 really hits the spot for me because I bought into the relationship. I was invested in the characters. I wanted to see them get together. I wanted to see them work through their issues. I cared about them. The chemistry for me was it. I just lacked seeing any chemistry between the actors in Season 2. I know, it may sound controversial to some because I know that couple worked for some people, but it didn't hit the spot for me. I think the actors are talented and it was a beautiful show to watch, beautiful costumes, cinematography is good, but I never bought them as that romantic couple that were actually falling in love with each other and whatnot. So Season 2 was just like, meh, for me. And then I enjoyed Queen Charlotte. By the way, I have done content on all of these seasons. They are on my channel. They will be under the playlist Bridgerton. So if you guys haven't checked those out, please go ahead and do so. But as I was saying, I have watched Queen Charlotte and I remember enjoying it more than I was enjoying Bridgerton Season 2. But Bridgerton Season 1 still, to me, is near and dear to my heart. That became my personality for like a month straight. I would rewatch the show like it was my hobby every day, and I did not care. I went back to 1 and it felt like the first time. It felt like that magical. It swept me up. It was so swoony, and I loved it. I love getting into that world. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't love period pieces. It was just never my thing. It was not my jam. But once I checked out this show that looked different, because it was like in the Regency era, but then I saw Black people in the show who weren't playing slaves and they were like handsome romantic leads. Oh, bet I was going to check it out. But I did not think that I was going to like it. I would never have guessed that because I'm not a Regency England girly. So I thought it would be fun to revisit from the beginning by watching episode 1 of season 1 and see if I still love it. I suspect that, maybe it'll change, maybe it won't, because I think sometimes certain songs, certain movies or shows will drop at a certain time of your life, and you associate it with that time of your life with whatever was going on, and so it's near and dear to your heart. And then maybe you can see more of like the criticisms and whatnot. So maybe that will happen, I don't know. But obviously I will always hold it near and dear to my heart, because as I said, like it reignited like my love for reading, and then like it made me kind of pay attention to period pieces, because before that just was not my thing. So yeah, let's check out Bridgerton season 1 episode 1. I just got done watching, and if you could tell by my smile on my face, if the question is, does it hold up? Is it still good? Yes, I'm still enamored and charmed, and I have a lot to say, and I'm trying to still download everything. I haven't seen that first episode in a long time, and pressing play, watching it back, I had the flutters, I had the giddiness, and I'm about to gush because I still loved it. Shout out to the location scouts, the costume and wardrobe, because everything is so well done. It just takes you into that world. And I imagine that for an actor, so much of the work is done for you because of the wardrobe and the sets. And that's why everybody is bringing their A game in this. So where do I start? Let's start with why I love this show is because, as I mentioned before, the chemistry, the two actors, Phoebe Devner and Regé-Jean Page, kill it together. They're so good. Let's talk about Daphne first. I really like this character because I think a lot of times so a lot of times you get these type of wallflower characters, which I love. And I think wallflowers are so popular because a lot of people can relate to those. If you don't know what wallflower is, it's usually like the kind of more shy and reserved girls who stay by the walls and just like keep to themselves. And they don't really like go to the dances and whatnot. And that's pretty much what Penelope is in this episode, right? But then with Daphne, which is different from what she plays in the book, because in the book, she's a little bit more of the wallflower type. But in this episode for this show, they decided to make her more so of the non-wallflower, the popular, I wouldn't say popular girl, but she's very much in this. She is a woman of her time. She is excited to get dressed up to go visit the queen so that she can get the blessings, so that she is able to be out in society looking for her man. And I really like that. I mean, you have to kind of suspend your disbelief, right? She's a woman of her time. We're in 1813. And she's into this. She knows what she wants. She wants to find her husband. She wants to be able to have her family. And I like a person with conviction. And I think this is also what Simon is kind of into too. Regé-Jean Page, he's a fantastic actor. For me, what gets me in these romantical stories is when you can actually kind of see them falling for each other. And this, I think he as an actor does it so well because it is all in the look. I may throw up some screenshots as I'm speaking because I want you guys to visualize and see what I'm talking about. It's the look. So when they first meet at the Danbury Ball, they literally bump into each other. And he immediately is an asshole. He's a prick because he thinks that she did that on purpose so that she can try to, get with him and talk to him and try to flirt. And he thinks he sees right through her, but she doesn't even know who he is. And she lets him know that. And I love that. She's super spunky. She's not, thrown off by like this man's gorgeous beauty like everybody else is. She is more like appalled that he would even suggest that she did that on purpose. He was just being so rude. And I love that she's not afraid to let him know what a prick that he was being. And I think that he was not expecting that at all. And that is why the first time that she dishes out to him, he's not offended. He has that look on his face where, wait, what? Like, he's like intrigued by it. Like, And then I love the part when Anthony comes and then they chat up and then he takes his sister away. Simon looks back. He gives her one last look because he is intrigued. And this happens several times in this episode. It happens at the ball that's at the end of the show, when they first lock eyes at this ball, and then Daphne kind of gives him kind of like a not a suspicious look, but kind of like a I see you're here type of look. And then Simon sees this and he's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm about to leave because this party's boring. But it's a look that he's intrigued by her and he's interested. And I think he really, really is into the fact that like she's not like a typical debutante. She's a debutante and she's a girl who's out in society who is like the other girls who are trying to find their husbands, but she's also this girl who is clever, she's witty, she's smart, and she's spunky. She's not afraid to let him know. She was not afraid to put him in his place. And I love that. I love that first interaction. I think there are some things that are kind of cliche. Like when they first bump into each other, it is a literal like bumping into each other. It's like a slow-mo situation, but it's because it's letting us know that this moment is an epic moment. It's when our two leads, the hero and the heroine, are first meeting, and I ate it up. I loved it. I love the use of the orchestral versions of the pop songs. I love this version of Thank You Next. Once you hear it at the Danbury Ball, I just had the biggest smile on my face again. I was just like, yeah, okay. It's like, whose idea was that to do that for this show? Because I think it was a great addition. If you want to make a new type of Regency romance, and then you want to find ways to make it feel different and modernize it in a way, I liked the inclusion of that. And I didn't know that I would have that reaction watching this show, but it's one of those things that I think was smart to do because it caught my attention. It made me want to like kind of like lean in more and like I want to be in this world, you know? So the chemistry still does it for me. I love the orchestral version of the pop songs. Chris Bowers is the composer. And even the music for the first season is still my favorite music. I listen to those songs even now, and I'm not just talking about the orchestral versions of the pop songs. I'm talking about the Chris Bowers composed music. There's a song called Feeling Exceptional that is my favorite track, and also Are You Alone? Two songs that he composed. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go look those up after you watch this video and then thank me later. It's like good for if you're working or studying or reading. I love listening to score music, and those are two of my favorite songs from that first season soundtrack. I think as a pilot episode, this does a good job at being a first episode because there's a lot of setup. You're introduced to a cast of characters, and there's so many characters. You have the Bridgerton family and you have the Featherington family, and you see these two families are very, very different, where it's a little bit more cold in the Featherington because they're just not as playful and they're not as loving towards each other. But with the Bridgertons, it's a household that's like, it's very chaotic. There's a lot going on. The way they talk to each other is very playful. And you definitely feel the difference of that. And also, the Featheringtons are a new money family. So that is why their clothes are just so much more louder. They're wearing like bright greens and pinks and yellows. And then you have the Bridgertons, it's a little bit more subdued. Like they have like a lot of blue, like a fuck ton of blue. And like whites. So I love that juxtaposition. You get to meet different types of characters that way. And I want to give a special shout out to the actress who plays Mama Featherington. My dog is drinking water, so sorry if you can hear him. You picked this time, really. Shout out to Lady Featherington because I think she could have easily been an unlikable character, and maybe for some people she is, but I think she's an interesting character to watch because she's kind of a trifling person. She doesn't always treat all of her daughters the best, especially Penelope. She's always putting her in, god awful yellow and not really paying attention to how her daughter is feeling. But at the end of the day, she is also a woman of her time who is trying her best to put her daughters in a good position so that they can be married off and have their husbands and their children, because, you know, again, we are in 1813, so it makes a lot of sense. You have to think about the time that they're in. She also makes that role funny. And I think probably a lot of it is in the writing, but the way she plays it, I'm not sure how much the actors were able to improvise. Being that this is a Shondaland production, they probably were not able to improvise that much from the script. So a lot of it is in the writing, because I know that Shonda is pretty strict with that. But I think she plays it so well. She is a great example of a character who's not the best person, but you want to continue to watch them because of the likability factor. Like, I want to be able to lean more to see what is she going to do or say next, because she has that, she's just comedic with it for a character that's not always that likable. Watching this episode again, we are reminded of Anthony's awful Wolverine sideburns. Another shout out to whoever in wardrobe or in production who decided to, let's take those away for his season 2 debut, because they're so long. Who thought that was a good idea? They're like Wolverine style, way too long. And then we're also reminded what a raging, controlling asshole Anthony was in the first season. I mean, I remember when I didn't know that these were books and I was just watching the show, you know, when it premiered like 3 years ago. I remember there were lots of discussions about Anthony online and with friends, and people were just like, why is he so controlling? Like, I don't get it. Like, does he want to fuck his sister? Like, he was coming on super, super strong. And I think this episode does a good job of setting his arc, because it sets up the fact that he has his own daddy issues. And I like that juxtaposition of these two characters who had very different upbringings with very different fathers, but they still, both of them still have daddy issues. And I love that with Anthony's example, even though he had this wonderful, amazing father, there's just a lot of weight on his shoulder as the firstborn son. You know, he's trying to not deal with responsibilities. He's filling his days with, you know, mistresses and cock blocking his sister so that he doesn't have to deal with his own issues. And I think Jonathan Bailey does a great job at acting the part. I had a lot of fun rewatching that first episode because it swept me up again, and I may decide to do more commentary on certain episodes, not all of them, but my favorite episodes of the first season, because I just enjoyed jumping back into that world, into that historical romance, especially since I feel deprived, since we are not getting anything so far from Netflix for Bridgerton season 3. So I may continue this. I'm not sure. If you guys are interested in that, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys want to check out more of my content, if you want to support, please go ahead and hit subscribe. Some of you guys have been watching my and just like that commentary every week, but you're still not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Help a girl out. I am thinking maybe I can make it to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. We don't know. She hopes, she dreams. If you want to be part of the dream and support, help a girl out and hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button, because that is really important to help push the video out. And it honestly helps to motivate creators to continue to create when you guys help out with the subscribe and the thumbs up and the comments and whatnot. If you guys are fans, let me know if you guys are feeling the frustration like I am, just like waiting and waiting for any kind of clip, teaser, and whatnot for Bridgerton season 3. I almost forgot to mention that I have done a Bridgerton season 3 reading vlog, meaning I have vlogged reading Penelope and Colin's book that is going to come out. I was going to wait for the trailer to drop, but it's taking way too long, so I'm going to drop it sooner. And that's going to come within the next couple of weeks, probably after I'm done with the And Just Like That commentary. So you have that to look forward to. Clearly, I love doing Bridgerton content on this channel, so if you guys are down for the count, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.